So this is going to be another NBA predictions video. We haven't done one of these in about a week now, so we're going to do one. My first prediction, we kind of already said that the Nets, I already said that the Nets won't win the finals. But especially now, because you can tell now, they've got a big hole on the defensive side. So, I think Kyrie, Harden, and Durant are the best three players on one team right now. But the fit's just not there. Now, if they get two good defenders, or one really good, they should have just kept Jarrett Allen. I know DeAndre Jordan's their guy or whatever, like Durant and Kyrie's guy, but Jarrett Allen just was way better now. Jordan's regressed. Jarrett Allen has progressed. And, I mean, he's shown it. That's why he's one of the reasons why the Cavaliers have beat them the last two games. They messed up, I think, in the trading Jarrett Allen in the Harden trade, unless it was just a vital part in the trade. But that's what I think about the Nets. And I think people need to realize that the league isn't just like 2K. It's not like you can just put whatever three players on a team and they're superstars and it's just going to work. You couldn't have a team of Ben Simmons, Giannis, and Andre Drummond. There wouldn't be enough shooting or floor spacing, and none of the three guys would be able to do great. I mean, that would be good on defense, but, offensively, you wouldn't be able to do anything. So that's why they need to trade for somebody on defense. Trading Jarrett Allen was a stupid move. Hopefully they can get, for me, not hopefully, but for them, they need to try to get JaVale McGee. Try to get that third, because he was playing right behind Drummond, but now that he's kind of fallen out of the rotation since Drummond and Jarrett Allen should be getting most of the minutes because they're better and younger, they should try to trade for McGee. Next, we've got a guy who just got traded, KPJ. I think KPJ will be a superstar if he can get his off-the-court issues solved. Cleveland clearly liked him. I mean, I liked him on Cleveland because Cleveland's one of my favorite, more liked young teams with Okoro, Garland, Sexton, and Jarrett Allen. And I liked KPJ a lot on that team, but I understand why they traded him. But I think Houston can make it work. I mean, they're in a really good situation. They got a bunch of draft picks in the Harden trade, and they've got a pretty good starting five now with Wall, Oladipo, Kevin Porter Jr., if they want to start him, that is. And then Christian Wood and Boogie if they want to play Wood at the 4. That would be their best 5 players that they could start. And with Porter and Christian Wood being younger, they could trade Wall or Oladipo or Boogie and get more picks or more young players, and they would be perfect in their rebuild. But with their current team, they could be a playoff team. And if everything went right, that could be the 5th seed, I think. But a lot would have to go right for them. And if Porter Jr. develops into a star, then it would just work great for them. Next, you're probably going to be thinking I'm kind of a hypocrite for this now, but I think Ben Simmons is going to the Lakers. And you might be saying, you just had a big spiel about fit with the Nets. So there's a couple of reasons about Ben Simmons why he would fit the Lakers. Well, for one, you don't have to have Davis, LeBron, and Ben Simmons all on the court at the same time. You could have one playing 30-something minutes, one playing 30-something minutes. Well, they could all be playing 30 minutes, and then just have 2 of them in at all times. And then you'd be like, well, what about in the finals? What would they do then? Because you want to have your you want to have your best players out on the court. Well, LeBron can be a great shooter at times, but most of the time he's about an average shooter. Davis, for a big, is an above average shooter and can be a great shooter. I mean, I think we've all seen that game winner he hit on the Nuggets, which was awesome. And maybe they could help. I feel like LeBron would be the perfect mentor for Simmons too. Because he's the player most similar to him. If he could help get Simmons to shoot the ball, then Simmons could be the best player in the league. If he could get a shot. He's great on defense, he's a great playmaker, and when he's playing aggressive, he's a great finisher. He's got it all. He just needs to get that shot. And every offseason we see him shooting in the offseason. Just do it in a game. And clearly he's upset. We all heard about the rumors about him possibly getting traded for Houston, and now it's came out that it was pretty much a done deal because they were trying to look for another young player, so they were trying to make it a 3-team deal, but they didn't want to trade Maxey. So it wasn't because of Ben Simmons that they didn't pull on the James Harden trade. It was because of Tyrese Maxey or Matisse Thybulle. So they were willing to give up Simmons to get Harden. So it's kind of made Simmons upset, and I mean, you can't blame the guy. So, and if he wants to get traded, and we all know he's a clutch sports guy. And like I said in my earlier prediction video about the Lakers getting a third guy, I said that they would most likely get a clutch sport athlete or somebody like that just wants to play with LeBron and Davis. Clearly, Ben Simmons is there's that picture of all three of them at the All-Star game that Clutch had because those three want to play together. And they can make it work. That team would be the best on defense, especially in the playoffs. Because LeBron in the postseason looks like one of the best defenders of all time. I mean, we've all seen the block he had on Iggy. Davis, we all know, is the Defensive Player of the Year caliber guy every year, but he's just not won it yet. Ben Simmons is a Defensive Player of the Year caliber guy as well. Those three on defense, that defense would be one of the best defenses ever if they just had okay guys at the other. But if they've got like KCP, who's an above-average defender, and like Marc Gasol, I know Marc Gasol's not as good on defense, but at one time he was really good on defense. You could have a great, great defense with those three. And literally you could have those three and then just two spot-up shooters. And that would be the best team in the league, I think, by far. And Ben Simmons would literally work great. He could just progress, and as LeBron regresses, he could progress, and they would have Davis and Simmons once LeBron's gone. And that could work for another who knows how long. Also, the reason why I know the Lakers don't have the most assets, but they could trade Montrez, here's all the better players that the Sixers would want from them: Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Talen Horton-Tucker, guys I would like the Lakers to keep, but if you can get a guy like Ben Simmons, I'd be willing to trade them. And also, it might be a 3-team trade: Ben Simmons to the Lakers, Bradley Beal to the 76ers. And then the Wizards, I forgot their name for a second. The Wizards could get draft picks and like Talen Horton-Tucker and maybe Matisse Thybulle. That could be the trade. So I think it's very possible that Ben Simmons ends up getting traded. And if he says, I will only play for the Lakers, he will end up on the Lakers because we've seen superstars have all the power in the NBA. The NBA is not the NFL. The NFL, the teams have a little bit more control, but the NBA, if a player wants to go somewhere, they go there. It might take a little bit, like Ben Simmons might have to sit out a year or whatever, but if he wanted to be a Laker, he can make it happen. I mean, let's think of the last few stars that have wanted to get out of their situation. Davis wants to go to the Lakers, he ends up a Laker. Harden, the main team he wants to go to, the Nets, he ends up a Net. If Ben Simmons came out right now and said, the 76ers have peed me off and I want to go to a different team. Well, and if he said that team he wanted to go to is the Lakers would end up getting him. Now, the Lakers might not have a draft pick for the next 10 years since the Davis and Simmons trade, but I think they would be pretty okay with having Davis and Simmons for the next 10 years. So, I think it's very possible if Ben Simmons wants out, he could end up being a Laker. So if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and if you've got any NBA opinions of your own that you would like me to react to or anything, you can comment them down below. And you can also comment if you think that Kevin Porter Jr. is not going to work out on the Rockets, or if you think Ben Simmons just stays in Philadelphia. But if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.